Comments for the week ending August 21st from the beef farmers of Ontario. There were 461 head of fed steers and heifers sold through auction markets last week, up 106 head from the previous week. Fed steers averaged $322.85 per hundred, up $148 per hundredweight, and fed heifers averaged $322.48 per hundredweight, up $10.33 per hundred from the previous week's trade. Auction markets reported on Tuesday that fed steers and heifers sold $5 to $10 per hundredweight higher. By Thursday, fed steers and heifers sold at steady prices on a good demand. In Ontario, dress sales were reported at $5.27 per hundredweight delivered, fully steady with the previous week. For the week ending August 9th, Eastern fed cattle and cow exports to the U.S. were 2,552 head, 21% below and 16% above the 5-year average. Year-to-date, Eastern fed cattle and cow exports were 1% lower than last year. Cull cow receipts sold through auction markets last week were 1,684 head, up 170 head from the previous week. Cows averaged $204.25 per hundredweight, up $7.93 per hundred. Beef cows averaged $223.55 per hundredweight, up 90 cents per hundredweight from the previous week's trade. Auction markets reported that fed cows sold on a strong demand at higher prices. Total receipts were 8,224 head last week. Receipts of 4,074 stockers and feeder cattle sold through Ontario auction markets, up 1,217 head from the previous week. Auction markets reported that all classes of stockers sold on a stronger market. The Quebec electronic market last week, $522.25 to $522.75 per hundredweight dressed on a picked-up basis. Last week, Alberta fed steers and heifers averaged $302.23 per hundredweight and $299.90 per hundredweight respectively, $1 to $2 per hundredweight stronger than the previous week. Dress sales were reported from $505 to $506 per hundredweight delivered, $1 to $5 per hundred higher than the previous week. Buying interest was noted from all Western Canadian packers. It were scheduled for delivery throughout September. U.S. interest was supportive and light volumes of Western Canadian fed cattle were marketed south. These cattle will be priced off the 5-area average. By Wednesday, August 20th, light trade developed with dress sales reported from $505 to $510 per hundredweight delivered, steady to $4 per hundredweight stronger than the previous week. For the week ending August 16th, Western Canadian fed processing was 41,036 head, 4.2% lower than last year. The U.S. cash cattle trade last week saw dress sales in the northern feeding states reported at $380 to $392 per hundredweight, mostly $385 to $386 per hundred, $4 per hundredweight higher than the previous week. Live sales in the north were reported at $245 per hundredweight, steady to $2 per hundredweight stronger than the previous week. Sales in Texas and Kansas were at $237 to $240 per hundredweight live, $2 to $5 per hundredweight higher. For the week ending August 9th, U.S. beef cow processing totaled just over 38,000 head, the smallest weekly processing volume seen this year. For the beginning of August, this is the second smallest processing volume on record, with only 2015 being small. This is Jamie Kerr with the Beef Farmers of Ontario Market Information Report.